Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Wednesday Night Mayhem right here on YouTube and StreamYard.com. It is your good old MF, Michael Fletcher, alongside Anthony Floyo, Dee Woodson, and Michael Bullock. And guys, as you can tell, I am not in a good shape right now. But I am here. I'm going to try to power through the show. To save my voice, I'm not going to give you my end of the reviews on either NXT or WWE tonight, or NXT or AEW. So we're going to run a three-person weave. Florio, Bullock, Didi, you guys are going to be running the show. I'm just going to talk about the matches and try to conserve energy as best I can. So we're going to start with AEW. As many of you guys know, for the first time ever, this was on the Jericho cruise, the Rock and Wrestling cruise that Chris Jericho was on. The broadcast team, as usual, Excalibur, Jim Ross, and Tony Schiavone. And they basically ran the whole thing down. So here we go, guys. So it started off with the AEW World Tag Team title. Scorpio Sky and Frankie Kazarian representing SCU versus Kenny Omega and Adam Hangman Page. When it was all said and done, the winners of the bout in 19 minutes and 20 seconds, and new AEW World Tag Team Champions Kenny Omega and the Hangman Adam Page. Anthony Florio, you lead off. History has been made on the cruise. We got new tag team champions.
It's always a good thing. It's always a moment when we get to hear MF say history has been made. And whenever he says that, he's channeling his inner Gorilla Monsoon. New champions crowned. The first ever title switch in the history of AEW. So big moment here. 4.25 to 4.5 stars. This was the fight of the night on my end. This was a really good tag match that was more traditional start to finish with a few flurries of four-way chaos. They were restricted from some of the usual action at ringside, including dives, because of the setting, and it forced them to work within the ropes. It worked out very well. And that setting, let me tell you, I mean, it was an amazing setting. The setting was so cool, and it felt different with that rabid crowd and dark skies above them and wind noise on the mics, giving everything a cool outdoor special event vibe. So big night indeed, and a great way to start it off with history-making moment here. So congratulations to the Hangman and Kenny Omega, the brand new AEW World Tag Team Champions. Well done. 4.25, 4.5, fight of the night for me. Michael Bullock, how do you follow that? History made.
I don't know how do you follow something like that. I mean, this was definitely a great way to start off AEW Dynamite, and I gotta tell you, that setting looked really good. I mean, with the way they did it. So, kudos to AEW for this one. So, and I agree with you, Florio. This was indeed the fight of the night. 4.25 to 4.5. I mean, both guys. I mean, I thought were really good with the in-ring action. I mean, the setup really prevented some of the usual stuff that you would see, but still, it was just freaking awesome. So, yeah, now the big question is, how long will Kenny Omega and Hangman Page hold on to those belts? We'll find out. So, nothing more to say. Dee Woodson, it's yours.
Yeah, it was a great opener. There was one jump into the they tried to do, right there at ringside, and ended up going into the crowd. But other than that, yeah, it was a great opener. It was great to see the Elite come out and support Omega and Page as they won. So congratulations to them. I'm actually gonna shoot it with 4 stars. So not much more I'm gonna say. Let's move on.
All right, and with that said, we're just gonna move right along to the next fight of the night. It's a women's match. Priscilla Kelly going one-on-one with Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, when it was all said and done, the winner of the bout in 6 minutes and 10 seconds was Dr. Britt Baker. And then Tony Schiavone cut it an interview with Britt Baker talking about her aggressiveness and questioning her way that she won the match at the end. And Britt Baker kind of, I guess you could say, went a little anti-heel here with the way that the way that she kind of went after Tony Schiavone and the whole 9 yards. I gotta say, maybe a possible heel turn for Dr. Britt Baker, Michael Bullock. It sounded pretty heel-like to me.
Oh, it definitely sounded heel-like with the way she went off after she was questioned after the match, and yeah, I think she is turning heel. I mean, especially after some of the questionable tactics she put on in the match. So as far as the match goes, I'm going to give it about 1.5 for the effort, but yeah, I'm interested to see what kind of direction AEW is going to go with Dr. Britt Baker as a heel. Who will she go after? Only time will tell. So, yeah, Dee Dee Woodson, it is yours.
This is a pretty good match. They did a better job showcasing, Baker in what looks like her new heel role, which she kind of teased last week, and now it seems like she's teasing it a little bit more. One thing that I can nitpick a little bit on is at the interview after the match, she really needs to work on her mic skills. She seemed to stumble over her words and just kind of roll on and roll on and roll on, and the promo just wasn't that great. Not much more I'm going to say about it. I'm going to give it probably about 2 stars. So, Florio, it's yours.
A solid, relatively short match. 2 stars, I agree. They worked hard and kept the pace moving. Again, working within the ropes instead of relying on overly complex sequences at ringside or on the ring apron. And it made for a better match, although it wasn't, the greatest. But then again, it's the women, so what else is new? So, but what happened afterwards, though?
I think we lost him.
Oh, Anthony, what happened? All right. So apparently we did lose Anthony Florio. I don't know what happened there. All right. So let's just go into the next thing. Hopefully we'll get Anthony back momentarily. But we got Anthony back. All right.
I'm back.
Anthony, why don't you finish? Yeah. Why don't you just finish your thought on what you were saying about Dr. Britt Baker? I know you were about to go about the promo.
Yes, and well done. And I think a heel turn will do wonders for her. I really do. I mean, after all, her boyfriend is, the biggest heel in NXT, so it makes perfect sense. So yeah, it came out really good, and that's really all I can say on that. So we're gonna try to get through this as quickly as we can, so we can get MF on out of here, so we can rest up. So let's move on.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Next up, we had was a 6-man tag team fight. Chris Jericho, the AEW World Heavyweight Champion, with Santana and Ortiz, along with Jack Hager. They went up against the Jurassic Express, Marco Stunt, Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus. When it was all said and done, Inner Circle wins the match at 14 minutes and 20 seconds. All right. Didi, it's all yours. Santana, Ortiz, and Jericho, the winners.
This was a really good and fun match. Jungle Boy is definitely a great baby face. And it was kind of funny to watch Luchasaurus chase after Hager. Um, but yeah, even though Jericho pinned Marco, he still hasn't beaten Jungle Boy, so that keeps that little thing going there. So I'm going to give this probably about 3.5 stars. You know, it was just a really good fight for him, and no real negative shenanigans other than Hager coming in. So not much more I'm going to say about it. Florio, it's yours.
Solid 3.5 star match here. A smartly booked and executed tag match, given the diverse mix of wrestlers in that match. That was the best use of Jurassic Express so far in AEW in terms of each playing a believable role in the right dose. So predictable outcome, but yeah, Jurassic Express looked great in defeat. So well done. Solid 3.5 stars. Nothing more to say. Michael Bullock quickly.
Yeah, I'll give it about 3.5 stars as well. I mean, I thought Jungle Boy and his team looked good even in defeat, and Jungle Boy certainly looks like a really good baby face. And yeah, I mean, it was a predictable outcome. We probably knew Jericho and the Inner Circle, or as I like to call them, the Thugs, after what they did to John Moxley last week. So yeah, so there's really nothing more to say. 3.5 stars. Let's move right along, Fletch.
All right. Now we got a one-on-one match. The bad boy, Joey Janela, goes one-on-one with the arrogant prick, MJF, Maxwell, Jacob Freeman. And when it was all said and done, the winners of the bout in 7 minutes and 45 seconds was MJF. He wins the match. Anthony Florio, it's all yours.
2.5 star match. A little short for my liking. I would have liked to have seen these two get a little more, but they obviously had to pack in as much as they wanted to, especially with the big main event coming up. But after the match, we finally had the first significant confrontation with Cody and MJF. But Cody saying, "Yeah, I can't touch you," but the Young Bucks can, and then bam, they super kick him, and then Cody says, "Throw him into the pool," and that's exactly what he did. They threw him into the pool and made JR go, "Oh my God!" And you know how much we always love that. So that was really well done with the post match there. So nothing really more to say on this. 2.5 stars. Another predictable outcome. Obviously, they wanted to give MJF all the momentum they possibly can going into the big match with Cody at Revolution. So that's all I can say here. So Michael Bullock, we didn't get the outcome we wanted, but at least the little idiot got what he deserved at the end, getting thrown into the pool.
Yeah, that arrogant prick MJF got exactly what he deserved. 2.5 stars. I mean, a good match, but too short for my liking. I agree. I mean, I would have loved to see more, especially with the body of work of not just him, but of course Joey Janela. But yeah, MJF thought he was going to get the last laugh, but Cody comes out and finally we get that little confrontation before their big showdown, and MJF, being that arrogant little piece of crap that he is, says, "Oh, you remember, Cody? You can't touch me." I mean, yeah, Cody gets the rules. You piece of crap. And Cody's like, "Yeah, well, I can't touch you, but these two can." Young Bucks show up, boom, super kick to him, and then they throw him into the pool. Couldn't have happened to a nicer guy. You got what you deserve, you piece of garbage. And that's just a small sample of what's to come for you, you little idiot. 2.5 stars. Dee Woodson, that piece of crap and that little idiot got what he deserved.
Yep. And his little thing after the match, the confrontation with Cody, him saying you can't touch me, goes back to I'm going to show my age here. The Bill Cosby skit where the kids are saying, "Will you stop touching me? Will you stop touching me?" It reminds me of that. So in this case, it's "I'm not touching you" type thing. And for a minute there, I thought MJF was going to get right up on top of him so that he could say, "You touch me," but there's just a very thin space between them, so they didn't touch. The match, yeah, I agree with the rating. They're trying to continue this ruthless streak for MJF, but the finish kind of flat with, the ex-girlfriend, new boyfriend thing coming on stage. Another Lana Rusev type thing but with AEW. So not much more I'm going to say about it. Glad to see the idiot get his well deserves, even if it was at the hands of the Young Bucks, because Cody can't touch him. So yeah, not much more I have to say. Let's move on.
All right, with that said, we're just going to move right along to what was undoubtedly, the most highly anticipated fight of the night, the main event, the number one contenders match for the AEW World Title. It was Jon Moxley versus Pac. Jon Moxley, AEW number one contender. He will indeed get to fight Jericho next for the title. 17 minutes and 20 seconds. Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
What was the time, MF?
17:20.
All right. I'm gonna give this about maybe 3.5 to 4. For this main event. I mean, Pac basically doing the heelish stuff, especially with Jon Moxley's injured eye. But yeah, I mean, these two really put on a good match here. But yeah, in the end, Jon Moxley gets the win, and now he will challenge Chris Jericho for the AEW World Title at Revolution. So yeah, I certainly can't wait to see what happens with this. So nothing more to say. Dee Woodson, it's yours.
Yeah, I'll give it a solid 4. Moxley definitely was the right winner for this. And these guys, going at it, they did a great job. I mean, they look good going off of each other. And it's a good way to build or continue the feud with Moxley and Jericho, because if Pac had won, that would kind of kill that momentum of that feud going on there. So yeah, and Pac beating that eye and pulling off the bandages. I mean, I kind of cringed a little bit, but yeah, it was a good angle though, still. So yeah, not much more to say about it. Great way to end the show. So we had a good bookend here. So it's yours, Florio.
Second best fight of the night, 4 to 4.25 stars. Great match. Jericho was really good on commentary, laying the groundwork to face either of them. Although with the grudge with Mox, it seemed to strongly lean toward Mox winning, unless there was a twist of Jericho costing Mox the match, but that didn't happen. But nonetheless, though, it lived up to the hype. If it wasn't for that opening tag team title fight, this would have been the fight of the night for me. But I got to give it second best fight honors, although it was really good. 4 to 4.25. Nothing more to say. Let's get to our overall review of AEW.
Dee Woodson, you lead off.
I'm going to give it actually a solid 8 stars. I thought it was very good, Matt. Very good show. They kind of knocked it out of the park for it being on a boat. I don't know if you guys caught the chat box, what I wrote over there, but there was actually spoilers for this show. So a lot of people probably already knew the endings if they had checked the dirt sheets. But yeah, it's still, even if it was pre-recorded or live, it doesn't matter. It's still a very good show. So yeah, like I said, good bookends. And no, I mean, we didn't have any NAs. We didn't have anything that we had to edit out or skip. So they did a great job this week, and like I said, they knocked it out of the park. So nothing else I have to say for, like I said, 8 out of 10. So it's yours, Florio.
Absolutely right. 8 out of 10 indeed. A lot of great matches here. We only had all the matches were, good to solid to great. I mean, the tag team titles, they stole the show, no doubt about it. Main event, second best fight of the night. And then the 6-man rounds out the top 3. And that was pretty much it. I mean, the other 2 matches, were just sort of there. I mean, they were just for me. So, yeah, I mean, great. Like I said, it was a fantastic atmosphere. So, hopefully they do more of that in the future. So that's all I can say on it. So I'll give it an 8 out of 10. I'll agree with Didi on it. Bullet quickly, and then we'll get into NXT.
Yeah, 8 out of 10 for me. I mean, I agree with everything you guys said. So I say let's just get right on to NXT.
Here we started it off with one of the semifinals of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, the Grizzled Young Veterans. As it was Zach Gibson and James Drake going up against members of Undisputed Era, Red Dragon, Kyle O'Reilly, and Bobby Fish. When it was all said and done, the winners of the bout in 13 minutes even and advancing to the finals, we got ourselves an upset. The Grizzled Young Vets, they win the match. Anthony Florio, oh my goodness, can you believe this?
I'm gonna channel my inner Jesse the Body Ventura on this one, MF. Major upset. I did not think the Grizzled Young Veterans were gonna take the Undisputed Era, but then again, there was a distraction. Imperium, the theme song, but contrived ending aside, these 2 teams put together a very strong match considering the difficulties of a heel-heel matchup. Also hanging over the match is the utter predictability that the Grizzled Young Veterans and the winners of the second match had to win tonight, given that Imperium and UE were already booked for Worlds Collide. So really all we can say on this, I'll give this about 3.25 to 3.5 stars for the effort. So nothing really more to say. Michael Bullock, major upset here.
Yeah, I did not expect this to go down. I mean, the Grizzled Young Veterans, I mean, going over Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly. I mean, yes, that little distraction from Imperium really did help out, but yeah, now they move on to the to the finals of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, and now we're gonna find out later on who they will be facing. So yeah, I mean, it's tough to what to expect from a heel versus heel, but these 2 really did deliver. So yeah, so there's yeah, so there's really nothing more to say. Didi Woodson, it's yours.
Didi, are you there?
Yeah, I agree with everything y'all said. I agree with the rating. So let's just move on.
All right, next up we had was Io Shirai 1-on-1 with Toni Storm. Toni Storm wins the match by an apparent disqualification, and at 7 minutes and 29 seconds. So, Michael Bullock, it's all yours. Apparently, Io Shirai tried to do something stupid, and
Actually,
well,
actually,
it
it was
was
Bianca
Bianca
Belair.
Belair who jumped. Yeah, Bianca Belair jumped Toni Storm.
Yeah. Yeah. The thing is, I mean, I'm gonna give this about maybe 2.5. I mean, it was on its way to doing something. I mean, really good. I mean, when you got the likes of Toni Storm and Io Shirai, um, yeah, yeah. I mean, basically, this was. Bianca Belair. I mean, basically took offense to the success of Toni Storm, especially now that Bianca Belair is the number one contender for the uh, NXT Women's Title. Because remember, Bianca Belair is going to be facing the winner of that the match at Worlds Collide uh, between Toni Storm and Rhea Ripley. So yeah, there's really nothing more to say. So um, Dee Dee Woodson, it's yours.
Yeah, I was not a fan of the DQ ending on this. I understand why they did it. I understand, this storyline progression. Not a big fan of it because this match was going really great until they threw her in just because she, you know, wanted to prove that she's the number one contender, not Toni Storm. Um, I'll give it, uh, 2.5 to close to 3, but yeah, I just don't really like how they ended it. So, the match great until the ending. Nothing else I have to say. After the aftermatch was really good though. So it's yours, Florio.
I'm gonna have to give this an NA. I never thought I would give an NXT match an NA, but here it is. Nobody likes a DQ finish, but this angle moved forward several stories, and Io Shirai didn't end up having to do a job that could damage her before she likely becomes Rhea Ripley's next major challenger after Bianca Belair is out of the way. Good action in the ring, though, and a very efficient use of talent. But it was thrown out, so it's an NA. I'm sorry. I never thought I'd say that on NXT. Come on, NXT. You're not Raw. You're not SmackDown. What's wrong with you? Move on.
Well, the reason why that they did it, and I think, and I understand why they did it, was look at the chaos that happened after the fight was over. You had because not only that, yeah, you had Bianca Belair. She got involved, but then the women's champion herself, Rhea Ripley, showed up, just to get into her face, everything else, and she basically cleared it out, only for Toni Storm to suicide dive on Io Shirai. All right, that's fine, but then Storm stands tall with the belt in hand, and the fans. You want to talk about the line being drawn? Toni Storm got booed. The boo birds were out for Toni Storm. So take it for what it's worth. I think we know who they're rooting for in that championship fight. So let's move on. We had Joaquin Wilde go one-on-one with Finn Balor. Balor destroys him in 2 minutes and 4 seconds. Cut out. I'm not even wasting any time. We're just going to move right along. Then we had Shotzi Blackheart, and she went one-on-one with Shayna Baszler. Yes, Shayna Baszler is back for the first time since losing the NXT title to Rhea Ripley. She comes back, and the Queen of Spades looks like she hasn't skipped a beat. Wins the match in 6 minutes and 20 seconds via submission. I believe this goes to Dee Woodson.
Yeah.
Yes, it does. So it is yours, my dear Shayna. Looking good in her return.
Yeah, and it also kind of wasn't a surprise to see her actually win this because, she had to do something to get retribution for being thrown out of the ring in that battle royal. So yeah, very good fight. But not the best in the world. So I'm going to give it about 2 3/4 of a star. That it was all right. So not much more to say about it. Florio, take it.
3 to 3 1/4 stars. I mean, it was the exact match you would think. Shotzi looked great in defeat and fought off the Karafuda clutch for a good bit and may be in the mix near the top soon. Some great counters in this one. Well-worked match. And, of course, Shotzi Blackheart, I best know her from her brief stint in Impact Wrestling. And, she had some solid matches down there. And here, I mean, I got to consider this maybe her best outing to date. I mean, to be in there with someone like a Shayna Baszler, I mean, you would think that Shayna Baszler was going to squash her and bury her, but no. Shayna actually made Shotzi look good here. So, well done, and well done on both accounts. Yes, the outcome was predictable, but, hey, I mean, kudos to Shotzi for keeping up with her. So, well done. That was your best outing yet, my dear. Well done. So, I'm going to give this 3 to 3 1/4 stars and call it the sleeper fight of the night. So Michael Bullock, this is your first time really getting to look at Shotzi Blackheart. I saw a lot of her in Impact, and her first serious match in NXT against the most dominant and greatest NXT Women's Champion of all time. So Michael Bullock, what do you think of Shotzi? Did she impress you tonight?
I think she definitely did impress me. Yeah, I mean, going into this, I thought that maybe Shayna Baszler was going to squash her, but no, that definitely wasn't the case. She really put up a good fight here. So yeah, so you gave it 3 1/4, right?
Correct.
Yeah, I'll give it that too. I mean, yes, it was short, but what she did against Shayna Baszler was definitely something worth it. So yeah, so there's really nothing more to say. Let's move on, Fletch.
Next fight we had was the other semifinal match of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. Matt Riddle and Pete Dunne going up against Imperium at 11 minutes and 23 seconds. It was indeed Matt Riddle and Pete Dunne. They advanced to the finals. They will be going up against the Grizzled Young Vets to determine the 2020 Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic winners. Anthony Florio, I guess the outcome was in no doubt, but my goodness, what a final we got. Matt Riddle and Pete Dunne and the Grizzled Young Vets are going to battle it out for the Dusty Rhodes Cup.
And that will be next week on NXT. So that is huge, to say the very least. I initially thought they were going to do it on Saturday night as part of Worlds Collide, but I guess they didn't want to overload the shows. So kudos to NXT for that. So
yeah, major props to them.
Yeah, and we're going to get it on free television. We don't have to do the WWE Network thing. But anyways, 4 to 4 1/4 stars. I would have to consider this the second best fight of the night here, given that both of the tag matches were both of these semifinal matches were foregone conclusions. Only a couple of strong outings can make them worth it, and this match delivered in a big way. It was hard to keep up with the action, but didn't just seem like a chaotic spot fest. So great action all throughout. I thought this match was a smidge better than the first one, although that one was good too. But I like this one a little bit better. So if I had to make a gut pick, I say Dunn and Riddle will walk away with it next week. So that's just how I feel. But I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, hey, grizzled young veterans. I mean, they've been the surprise here. I mean, I didn't think they were going to go very far, but look what's happened. So I wouldn't be surprised if they were to steal it. But I got to go with my gut. I got to go with the broser weights in this case. So that's all I can say on this. 4 to 4.25 stars. It's the second best fight of the night for me. So Michael Bullock, we got the final next week. How about it?
Yeah, I'm certainly looking forward to the final next week. Yeah, I mean, Dunn and Riddle against the grizzled young veterans. I'm definitely looking forward to see how this goes. As far as who I think is going to win, we'll just have to wait and see. Yeah, I'll give it about 4 stars for the effort here. I mean, yeah, so there's really nothing more to say. So let's. I'm gonna give it to Dee Dee Woodson.
Yeah, I'll agree. This was a really great semifinal match. Not much more I'm going to add to it, so we'll just move on.
All right, guys, the main event, and this was the big one. The NXT North American Championship on the line. Roderick Strong versus Keith Lee. And when it was all said and done, the winner of the bout in 16 minutes, 56 seconds, and new NXT North American Champion, Keith Lee. He wins the title tonight. Michael Bullock, you lead off on the main event. History has been made in NXT. A new North American champion.
Well, shall we say, let's bask in his glory. We're basking in it right now. What a match this was. I'm gonna give this about 4, maybe 4.25. I mean, I do have to dock a little bit out of it because of a little bit of some interference from the Undisputed Era, which was expected. I mean, but this was definitely a damn good match. I mean, it all finally culminates for Keith Lee now that after everything he's gone through, now it all culminates with him becoming the North American champion. And then after the match, we got a little preview of what's going to go down with Worlds Collide with Imperium and the Undisputed Era brawling. So this was definitely a crazy way to end everything. So yeah, there's nothing more to say. Dee Dee Woodson is yours, and let's just say we're basking in Keith Lee's glory.
Yep, we are. Undisputed Era has had those titles, all 4 titles for quite some time, or, well, if you count the tag team titles separate, yeah, it's 4 titles. But they've had all the titles for quite a while now, so it is kind of time to let's move on. Let's get somebody fresh into the picture, and what better way than to bask in the glory of Keith Lee getting the North American Championship. So 1 title down, and then we got the others to go. So we'll see what happens, especially the next match that Cole has. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. Really, really good. I pretty much kind of agree with the rating. So, and the definitely afterwards, that brawl, that was I mean, that was awesome. That was probably the best way to end the show and to lead off into their their next pay per view with NXT UK. So, Florio, it's yours.
This was my fight of the night, 4.25 to 4.5 stars. Oh man, great match. Even though he's now the North American champion, I still think Keith Lee could make a huge splash in the Royal Rumble match. But I thought this win was essential for Keith Lee as he continues his rise up the card. UE no longer has all the gold. Roddy was a great champion who was having quality matches with many different types of challengers. And once Lee moves up the ladder some more, hopefully the North American Championship is still in the cards for him again. And yeah, history-making moment. Sorry, MF, no mosh pit. I mean, I know you were kind of hoping for that, especially after the big celebration for Rhea Ripley last month when she took the women's title off of Shayna Baszler. But yes, the Undisputed Era as a unit held all 4 championships for the last 126 days. And from what I read, they said that it was the longest amount of time that a four person unit has held all the titles. That's the longest amount of time there. So that's all. I'll try to find the moment. But nonetheless, though, congratulations to Keith Lee. Well deserved. I had him winning it going in. I kind of thought Imperium was going to be the one responsible for it, but I'm glad that Keith Lee earned it on his own merits, and good for him. No big surprise considering that he won the Breakout Star of the Year as part of the NXT Awards a few weeks ago, and now he's got the North American Championship, and now bigger and better things for Keith Lee. Oh, bask in his glory. Yes, sir. So that's what we're all doing here tonight. So congratulations, big fella. You deserve it. You damn sure deserve it. And you should have seen our girl, Luigi PS3. She had her reaction, and yep, she's marking like everyone else. So no big surprise. So what a night. Fight of the night, 4.25, 4.5. Well done. Let's put a bow on this thing.
All right. Before we do that, we got to get the overall review. Dee Woodson said she'll be right back. She was gonna lead off on the overall review. So Anthony, we're gonna start with you. So give me your thoughts.
Yeah.
NXT.
Wow. I would have to say this was right up there with AEW as well. But I think it was just a smidge better. I'm going to give this about 8.5 to 9. I mean, we only had one bad match. Yes, there was one match that had an NA, but what happened in that NA was still very good action. So this is about an 8.5, teetering on 9. Main event stole the show. The tournament matches were serious, but I do have a small nitpick. The tournament matches were seriously marred by the fact that Imperium and Undisputed Era were already booked at Worlds Collide. But with the Dusty Classic getting shafted and moved to TV anyway, I guess they could have done any finishes they wanted. I still think the Broserweights win it, but, we'll have to wait and see. Build's been decent for Worlds Collide, but I think the matches will deliver. Keith Lee is one of many dark horses to win the Royal Rumble in a field that seems more wide open than usual, though I would make the boring pick and say Roman Reigns, but, we'll get more into that on Friday. But with this win, Lee becomes infinitely less likely to win the Rumble match, and I'm okay with a guy not being moved up too quickly, so some time with NXT's secondary title is just fine before he takes the next step. And, but the Baszler and Shotzi match was just fine, and, all that aside, the company seems committed to Shotzi, and I look forward to seeing what she can do in a crowded field. Very good show. Big moment for Keith Lee. So that's all I can say on this. So even though AEW brought it tonight, I got to say this one was just a smidgen better. I'm going to give it about 8.5. I think that may be the best way to go, maybe even 9. But that's all I can say on that. So, Michael Bullock, another banner night for NXT. Last month we had Rhea Ripley had her big moment, and now tonight Keith Lee gets his big moment as he becomes the new North American champion. So how did you feel they did it for their go home show for Worlds Collide?
I thought they did really good for their final show before Worlds Collide. I mean, yeah, I agree. It's an 8.5 out of 10. I thought it was a smidget better than AEW tonight. So definitely builds a little momentum for that big Worlds Collide special Saturday night. So I'm interested to see how it all goes down. So nothing more to say. Dee Woodson is back. So give us your thoughts on NXT.
Yeah, it was a really good show. Yeah, it was, up there with AEW. I'm not really going to pick one or the other to be winners. I'm going to give them both about the same rating, about 8 stars. So, you know, good matchups for both of them. Still, we had a couple of low points that was on NXT that we didn't have on AEW, but NXT was a little more storyline driven than AEW was. So, not much more I have to add. So let's go ahead and wrap it up, Fletch.
All right, and with that said, we're gonna call it a night here. Anthony Flair, why don't you come on in very quickly? Why don't you set the rundown for tomorrow's season premiere of Strictly Sports?
We got a loaded show, folks. We're gonna talk about the sign stealing scandal in Major League Baseball. It has to be addressed. It will be addressed, and we will all have our say on that. And we will, but we do move on to more positive news. The news of the newest inductees into the Baseball Hall of Fame, including one that I am beyond thrilled with, but not so happy with whoever that writer was. That's all I'm gonna say. So that's a little backstory there. So the Hall of Fame announcements. We will also talk about the 2 big hot stove signings: Garrett Cole, his big signing with the Yankees, and Anthony Rendon, his big deal with the Angels, and we'll throw in some NHL All-Star talks. We'll give a little rundown of the All-Star game. Why not? I think we could definitely mix it up. And MF and I had a little emergency meeting the other night, and we agreed that we will no longer be doing power rankings for any of the sports. There will be no more NHL, no more NBA, Major League Baseball, NFL, because let's be realistic. Those things were tough as hell. And we only did it because, we wanted to be obedient to Derek and the whole 9 yards. But now that we run the show now, no more. So that's all I can say on that. So we're just going to get into those baseball stories and the NHL All-Star preview. I know MF wanted to get into that. So yes, MF, we'll get into that. Hopefully you'll be well healed up and rested and ready to go for tomorrow night. So what do we think? 10 or so usual time?
About 10 o'clock. Yeah, 10 o'clock we'll start the show.
So that's 10. So that's 10 o'clock tomorrow night. The sign stealing scandal, the Hall of Fame announcements for baseball, the Cole and Rendon mega contracts, and the NHL All-Star preview, and that will be our show. And then after that, it's all about the Super Bowl after that. So that's all I can say on that. So that'll put the bow on this. So we'll see you tomorrow night. So MF, let's get you on out of here so you can rest up.
All right. Thank you, Anthony Flair. Thank you, Dee Woodson. Thank you, Michael Bullock. Thank you guys as well. It's been a rough night. As you can tell, my voice is but I'm honored. Thank you for braving through for the evening. Have a good night. So long for now. And until then, you guys know the routines. Hug and hand pounds, and we are out. Have a good night. Bye-bye.